大谷翔平選手、アーロン・ジャッジ選手の MVP 発表から数時間経ち、それぞれの今シーズンの活躍を振り返りつつ、同一リーグだったらどちらが MVP かという誰もが気になる内容の番組が放送されていました。そして来シーズンの大谷翔平選手の投手復活に向け、早くもサイヤング賞に期待する声も上がっているようです。今回は MVP 関連情報と FA 関連情報をまとめてお送りいたします。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーに関する話題と気になるメジャーリーグのニュースを翻訳してお届けしております。お見逃しのないよう今のうちにチャンネル登録をお願いいたします。
I want a definitive answer. If they played in the same league, who's the MVP, Ohtani or Judge?
It's Judge, and because of what we hit on already.
In the field.
When you play 158 games, that is answering the bell every day. That's coming in and swiping your time card, not taking anything away from any DHs, but to come in and get ready for 4 at-bats and run the bases well. A lot of people can do that and get by. It's not having to plug in every day and run balls down in center field for your pitchers, never taking an inning off. That toll that it takes on your body, playing up the middle, and then you turn around and do what he did
As well. It sounds hyperbolic since baseball's been around for 150 years, but that's literally one of the greatest games you'll ever see. I mean, 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and 10 RBI. Ohtani did so with a flourish, people. It was amazing.
Forget that 50-50 season was on the line, and that was the day he did it. If that happened any day for a major leaguer to do that, is, like you said, as incredible of a year, as of a day as you could have. Here's what I want to say. This is a one-off for Ohtani. In the fact that he's not pitching this year. This was by design for him to come back, understanding he could run the bases like this, and then to hit 50 home runs. Just truly
an elite pitcher, and hopefully we'll see that come next season.
You're exactly right. I think we're going to see a whole lot less stolen bases, especially with the arm injury sliding into second. That's going to be reserved because we forget that this guy is as good as anybody on the mound. We can go ahead and go to this tape. I'm going to show you what the dude does, but this is he finished 4th in the Cy Young in 2022. Papa Baker back there on research giving me all kind of nuggets. Forget that this guy throws 100 miles an hour, guys. Watch the fastball. This is what we're going to see next year and possibly hitting 50 home runs. And the Dodgers, it's an embarrassment of riches. You see the slider right here, the splitter. That's 3 devastating pitches I just showed you. Does he have any more, Adnan? You better believe he does. Look at that. There's not anything this guy can't do on the baseball field, down to being as good of a pitcher as I've ever seen. Now, look, we all seen this moment, but I'm going to show you what this guy's about. 1-0 to the best player in the game. Right down the middle. Get you some. I go 2-1. What's coming now? Fastball. Challenging Mike Trout with the game on the line. Now you got to make a pitch. You've challenged him with 2 fastballs. The right call is the perfect slider. That is who this guy is. This guy wants the moment and is a bulldog on the mound. You look here, it's just incredible what he's been able to accomplish on both sides of the ball. As being a former pitcher, I marvel at anybody doing this, let alone trying to do something else on the baseball field. When you talk about the Dodger rotation moving forward, getting a number 1 starter, a guy, I promise you, I heard Greg ask him if he's Cy Young's in his future.
Yeah.
There's not anything else the guy has left to prove.
I mean, this is a theoretical rotation. Yamamoto, the $320 million man. Ohtani's sliding in as a number 2. Then you've got Glass now, who was excellent until he got hurt. Gonsolin, Dustin, I could throw a little Bobby Miller. Kirsch at some point. You're telling me Ohtani can win a Cy Young?
I just gave Baker and those guys some love. I'm going to get on them right here because Shohei Ohtani is our number 1 starter.
Right.
He is better than Yamamoto in his 5 innings that he gives you with the fastball split. He does not have the breaking ball and the slider quite yet like Ohtani's got. I'm telling you, Shohei Ohtani, when right, is as good as any pitcher in the game of baseball. He is Zach Wheeler. He is Garrett Cole. It's truly remarkable to talk about that he's this good pitching and he is doing 50-50.
Right.
There's nothing left to say other than he's going to go down as the best baseball player of all time.
Well, this is the thing. People say, how can you top it? By winning the Cy Young. If he wins the Cy Young next season off a 50-50 year, that, again, it's unprecedented.
It's coming.
He's going to win a Cy Young.
That's right. Forget about it.
New Balance celebrates the man, the myth, the MVP, Shohei Ohtani. Now over to Jack O'Connell, the BBWAA, their secretary-treasurer, for more. Take it away, Jack.
Thanks, Greg. For the first time in history, a most valuable player did not play an inning in the field. Shohei Ohtani was the first designated hitter to win the award in the American League, and now is the first DH to win the National League. Only this year he did not pitch. He joins Frank Robinson as the only players named MVP in both leagues. Last year, Ohtani became the first player to win the award unanimously more than once. Now he's done so 3 times. Aaron Judge, who won in the American League for the second time, was also a unanimous choice as the Yankees raised their total of MVP winners to 22, the most in BBWAA voting dating to 1931. Last year marked the first time that both league MVPs, Ohtani and Ronald Acuna Jr., were unanimous picks. Now it has happened 2 years in a row. In the AL voting, Judge got all the first-place votes and Bobby Witt Jr. all the second-place votes. That happened just once before, last year in the National League with Acuna and Mookie Betts. Back to you, Greg.
Jack, thank you so much. Let's put a bow on this. Awards week is officially over, and we have two players who look like they had the best statistical seasons you could possibly have. They really look like it. They were the main event. You see all the award winners this week. Is there any chance Judge and Ohtani can top the seasons they just had?
I think they're just hitting their peak now. Think about this. They are the pillars of this game right now. The last 8 MVPs, Judge and Ohtani have won 5. Everybody else in baseball combined has 3.
Well, I'll tell you what, get in line because Ohtani's going to pitch next year.
I'm telling you.
Oh, my.
How many MVPs will he end up with? I think that was a good question to ask about the Cy Young.
That was
Sorry.
good. I like that.
Clayton Kershaw inspired me. That was your idea, by the way, to get Clayton.
that was yours.
For Harold Tom, my name is Greg. Awards week was fun. Congratulations to Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, your MVPs.
Here's another thing, too. I would get back to the National League vote and say this. If Mookie Betts played in a full complement of games last year, and he played in only 116 because he was hurt, he would have given Shohei a run because of what he did between 3 different positions at a very high level. He would have amassed more counting numbers for sure. Mookie's season was great, interrupted by injury, and I guess we'd be talking about 2 Dodgers on that list as finalists if Mookie was healthy all year. Mookie also, ironically, and we talked about Mookie earlier today in his Dream Golf Foursome. He's got a podcast, and I think we have time to wedge this in here too. He had Walker Buehler, he had his Dodger World Series winning teammate on his podcast recently. We'll react to what they discussed. Roll it.
You saw the game unfolding, and you were like, "Oh, I may have to go in this game." So tell me, when that thought hit your mind to walking through the bullpen, how was it like? Were you going crazy? What were you doing?
For me, the first thing is, I said, what would 22 do? And 22 would be out there. And he was hurt and all that shit, so I guess I had to do it, and that sucks. And
oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
Sorry.
Last out of the World Series.
They're very comfortable.
You got to be careful interviewing guys after they've won a World Series, because there's a 7-day grace period where you don't know when you're going to catch full sobriety. There's a lot of moving parts right there.
Blake Snell, remarkable season again for the Giants as the Dodgers, the Red Sox on Eflin, G-Rod, Kramer, Suarez, Rogers. That rotation, to me, takes a big hit. They got to re-sign Corbin Burns.
No, they do. They got to have some of their guys. Zach Eflin's got to pitch well, and Grayson Rodriguez, we saw bits and times last year, especially in the second half, where he looked like the number 1. He's got to take a big step up. Trevor Rogers down the bottom's got to be who they traded some really good talent away from. But without Corbin Burns, you don't have that bona fide ace that, like we said, with Tarek Skubal and what he allowed A.J. Hinch to do. That bona fide ace allows you to mix and match with the rest of your guys, takes the pressure off. Without him, they're in the same boat as Boston. Got to go sign somebody to keep up.
Burns will get a giant payday no matter where he goes. Perhaps he stays with the Orioles. How about another pitcher to look at where you throw him in a rotation? That's right, the Toronto Blue Jays. And how about Max Fried?
Here we go.
You need a lefty because Kikuchi's gone now. So I go Gossman, Barrios is my 1-2 Fried. Francis had a terrific season. Bassett can still be in the mix. Rodriguez, Bloss. Fried, to me, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And we talk about this. Max Fried is right to the top of this. To me, he's better than Kevin Gausman. He's better than Barrios. He is not any different for me. When you're talking about Blake Snell and Corbin Burns, I'll take Max Fried in the same breath.
Right there with those guys.
Absolutely right there with those guys. This guy is number 1 type stuff. But he pitches with some savviness. He gets balls on the ground. He can strike guys out when he needs to, but it's not all Max or anything. Great athlete. He was a huge part of Chris Sale's success and pushing Chris Sale this year, feeding off each other. I would love to see him go to Toronto, add the lefty they need.
One more for you, the Mets, because they've got so many guys right now. Manaea, Severino, free agents. So if I can tell you, Senga, Fried, Peterson, Blackburn, McGill.
The Mets are going to have to do some things. Max Fried, break Atlanta's heart and come to your rival and be the difference maker. I think he could be. And look, New York Mets are going to be in the mix for not one, but probably two starters.
That'd be a fascinating 1-2 punch if you had Senga and Max Fried, perhaps. And as you said, perhaps a dagger to the Atlanta Braves as well.
The newest episode with Ken Griffey Jr. Before you go, we want to ask you about the news we learned of regarding Roki Sasaki. We take you back to the Japanese game. Sasaki was expected to be here this year, still is expected to be here this year, but we understand there are some timeline protocols in place now.
Yes, the Commissioner Rob Manfred actually spoke recently about this week, and the new news here is that Sasaki is expected to be part of the next year's international signing class, which begins on January 15th. So he's still going to be part of Major League Baseball in 2025. We just will find out much later in the offseason. And what this means, guys, is that the posting window, which can be 45 days, is likely to begin somewhere in the early part of December, such that the 45 days stretches into that January 15 window. Now, he'd be posted no later than December 15th. That's part of the rule and the player transfer rules between MLB and NPB. So I would say the posting news, which we love when this happens, is probably going to occur right around the time we're at the winter meetings, which will be good for discussion around Major League Baseball as Sasaki becomes right up there with the Soto conversation and the Corbin Burns conversation as the most coveted players. But in some ways, he's the most coveted because of the international signing bonus rules. He's going to sign for a minor league deal somewhere in the range of $3 or $4 or $5 million, which means everybody wants Roki Sasaki.
Everybody wants a piece. Yes, sir. JP, enjoy the rest of your trip. Enjoy the rest of the Premier 12 tournament. Good stuff as always. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Good to see you, pal.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Thanks.
投手復活には現地も高い期待を寄せているようですね。MVP 授賞式の際も同様の質問が大谷選手へ直接投げかけられていましたが、2025年の楽しみは二刀流復活となるのは現地でも同じようです。そして佐々木朗希選手の移籍の期限の話も出ましたが、12月15日が区切りの目安のようですね。大谷翔平選手はもちろんですが、新たに挑戦する日本人メジャーリーガーの皆さんの新天地が決まり、健康な1年を過ごし、2026年の WBC へみんなで立ち向かっていく姿が見れたら本当に幸せだなと思います。少し早いですが、2026年の WBC に日本人メジャーリーガーからは誰が参加すると思いますか？ぜひコメント欄で予想を教えてくださいね。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。さようなら。